I won $5 million in the lottery and decided to test my family. I was fired and evicted. I typed in the family group chat, "My sister serves you right." And my parents agreed with a thumbs up. Only one person offered me a hand. I'm 27 and I'm tired as hell. Not just the kind of tired you get after a long day. I'm talking about bone-deep exhaustion that makes you question everything you're doing with your life. I work 2 jobs as a nurse at the clinic, pulling double shifts most days. And let me tell you, it's killing me slowly. You might wonder why I push myself this hard. Well, it's not just about paying rent on my crappy 1-bedroom apartment or keeping the lights on. See, I've been the family ATM since I was 15 years old. Yeah, you heard that right. 15. That's when I got my first job at my uncle's store, stocking shelves and running the register after school. I remember my parents sitting me down when I got that job. "Nova, since you're working now, you need to contribute to the household," my mom said, like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Your sister needs new clothes for school, and we could use help with the bills." My sister Emma was 9 then, and apparently working wasn't something she needed to worry about. That was my job. So I handed over half my paycheck every week, watching my parents take it like it was their due. Now Emma's in her 3rd year of college, studying God knows what, and guess who's still paying for it? You got it, me. Last month she called me crying because she needed money for a new smartphone. "Nova, everyone has the iPhone 14, and I'm stuck with this ancient thing. I look like such a loser," she whined. So what did I do? I sent her the money. $800 I didn't have to spare because my little sister couldn't bear to be seen with a phone that was 2 years old. And my parents? Don't even get me started. Last month, my dad needed dental work, a root canal that cost $2. Did they have insurance? Of course not. Did they ask me to pay for it? You bet they did. "Nova, you're the only one working steady," my mom said when she called. "We raised you, fed you, put a roof over your head. This is the least you can do." The least I can do? Like I haven't been doing it for 12 years straight. It's not just my parents and Emma either. My aunts and uncles have figured out that I'm a sucker too. Aunt Linda calls me every few weeks to come give her insulin shots because she's scared of needles. Uncle Mike borrowed $300 6 months ago for car repairs. Haven't seen a penny back. Cousin Sarah asked me to give her massages for her back pain, and somehow I always end up doing it for free. When was the last time I bought something nice for myself? I can't even remember. My scrubs are falling apart. My car makes weird noises when I turn left, and I haven't been on a real vacation in 4 years. 4 years. While I'm paying for Emma's spring break trips and my parents' anniversary dinner. But here's the thing that really gets me. They never say thank you. Not once. It's like they expect it. Like I owe them something for existing. When I helped pay for Emma's textbooks last semester, she just said, "Finally, I thought you forgot." When I covered my parents' electric bills so they wouldn't get shut off, my mom said, "Good." We were worried we'd have to ask twice. Ask twice, like asking once wasn't enough of an insult. I was thinking about all this crap yesterday while I was getting gas after my second shift. The station was practically empty. Just me and this older lady behind the counter who looked about as tired as I felt. I was paying for my gas when she pointed to the lottery ticket display. "You should buy some tickets, honey," she said with this weird smile. "I got a feeling someone's luck is about to change around here." Now, I don't believe in luck. Never have. Luck is for people who can afford to waste money on stupid dreams, but something about the way she said it made me pause. Maybe it was how tired I was, or maybe I just wanted to believe that somewhere out there, the universe gave a damn about people like me. "Give me 5 tickets. I heard myself saying the scratch-offs. She handed them over with that same knowing smile. "These are gonna be good to you." I stuffed them in my purse without looking and drove home to my apartment where the heater doesn't work right and the neighbors upstairs sound like they're playing basketball at midnight. I tossed my purse on the kitchen table and forgot all about those tickets. 2 weeks went by. 2 weeks of double shifts of my back aching from lifting patients of Emma texting me about needing money for some campus event. I was cleaning my apartment on Sunday. Well, trying to make it look less like a disaster zone. When I found those lottery tickets under a pile of mail, I was about to throw them in the trash when something stopped me. I grabbed a quarter from the change jar and started scratching. First ticket, nothing. Second ticket, nothing. Third and fourth, more nothing. I was down to the last one, already feeling stupid for wasting $25 I couldn't afford to waste. Then I scratched off that final ticket and my whole world changed. I stared at that ticket for what felt like forever. $5 million. The numbers were right there in black and white, but my brain couldn't process it. This had to be some kind of mistake, right? People like me don't win $5 million. People like me work double shifts and eat ramen noodles for dinner. I checked the numbers again. Then I checked them a third time against the winning numbers on my phone. Every single digit matched perfectly. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the ticket. My first instinct was to call someone. Emma, maybe, Or my parents. I actually had my phone in my hand, Emma's number pulled up, when something made me stop. I set the phone down and walked to the kitchen like I was in a trance. I needed coffee. I needed to think. This was too big, too crazy to just blurt out to my family without thinking it through first. While the coffee was brewing, I kept looking at that ticket. $5 million. After taxes. It would be maybe half that. But still, we're talking about more money than I'd make in 20 lifetimes at the clinic. I could quit both jobs tomorrow. I could travel, buy a house, never worry about bills again. But as I sat there sipping my coffee, another thought crept in. A darker thought that I didn't want to admit I was having. What if I didn't tell them right away? The idea came out of nowhere, but once it was in my head, I couldn't shake it. For 12 years, I'd been their personal bank. Every crisis, every want, every random expense, they came to me. And not once had any of them said thank you like they meant it. It was always expected, always assumed that Nova would handle it. What would happen if I couldn't handle it anymore? By the time I finished my coffee, my mind was made up. I wasn't going to tell them about the lottery win. Not yet. First, I was going to find out who my real family was. The plan took shape over the next week. I'd tell them I lost my job and was about to lose my apartment. See who stepped up to help the person who'd been helping everyone else for over a decade. It felt a little mean, but honestly, after all these years of being taken for granted, I thought I deserved to know the truth. Saturday morning came and I opened up our family group chat. It was one of those things my mom had set up a couple years ago so we could all stay connected. Really, it was just the place for everyone to complain about their problems and ask for favors. I could see that most of my relatives were online. Mom, Dad, Emma, Aunt Linda, Uncle Mike, a few cousins. Perfect timing. I took a deep breath and started typing. Hey, everyone, I have some bad news. I got fired from the clinic yesterday. They said they were cutting staff and I was one of the last hired, so first to go. I don't have enough saved up to cover next month's rent, and I'm going to get evicted in 2 weeks if I can't come up with the money. I hit send and watched the little delivered notification appear. Then I waited. The response was almost immediate, but not what I was hoping for. Mom, does this mean you can't help us with the mortgage payment this month? My stomach dropped. That was her first concern? Not are you okay or what can we do to help, but whether she'd still get her money. Me? I don't have any savings. Mom, I've been living paycheck to paycheck. Emma, well, who's going to pay for my tuition now? The semester bill is due next week. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Here I was telling them I was about to be homeless and they were worried about their own bills. Me? I have my own problems right now. I need help. I might be living in my car in 2 weeks. That's when Emma really showed her true colors. Emma serves you right. If you were too stupid to save money for emergencies, that's your problem. You should have been more responsible instead of just working all the time like an idiot. I stared at my phone screen in shock. Serves me right. I've been paying for her college, her phone, her everything for years, and this was what I got. But wait, it got worse. I watched as other family members started reacting to Emma's message. Thumbs up emojis from Mom and Dad. Heart reactions from Aunt Linda and Uncle Mike. They were actually agreeing with her. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't from excitement, it was from pure rage. Me, the reason I don't have savings is because I've been helping all of you with money for years. I've been supporting this family since I was 15. Uncle Mike, you helped us out a few times. That doesn't mean we owe you anything now. Aunt Linda, we never asked you to help us. That was your choice. Cousin Sarah, you can't expect us to bail you out just because you made bad financial decisions. Bad financial decisions, like paying for Dad's dental work, was a bad decision. Like keeping Emma in college was a bad decision. I was crying now, angry tears that I wiped away with the back of my hand, but I had to see this through. I had to know exactly where I stood. Me, I need a place to stay for a few weeks while I look for work. Can anyone help me out? The silence stretched for several minutes. Then the responses started coming in. Mom, we don't have room for you. You need to figure this out yourself. We're disappointed in how irresponsible you've been. Aunt Linda, I'm not taking in some unemployed person with no money. I have my own problems. Uncle Mike, sorry, Nova, but we can't help you. Emma was the last to respond, and her message was the final nail in the coffin. She posted a photo of a homeless man sleeping under a bridge and wrote, Nova's future. The reactions came flooding in. Laughing emojis, crying, laughing faces, thumbs ups. My own family was laughing at the idea of me being homeless. I closed the chat without responding. There was nothing left to say. I sat on my couch and cried for about 20 minutes. Not sad tears anymore. Angry tears. Relieved tears, maybe. Because now I knew the truth and it hurt like hell, but at least I wasn't wondering anymore. My phone rang around 30 minutes later. It was my cousin Jessica, who'd been in the chat, but hadn't said anything. Jessica was different from the rest of them. She'd always been kind, never asked me for money or favors. We didn't talk often, but when we did, she was genuinely interested in how I was doing. "Nova," she said when I answered. "I saw what happened in the chat, that was so gross." I almost started crying again just hearing someone show me a little kindness. "Yeah. Well, now I know where I stand," I said. "Look, I don't have much, but I've got a couch in my apartment. You can stay here until you get back on your feet. No rent, no bullshit. Family should help family." And there it was, the one person who actually meant it when she said family should help family. After I hung up, I looked at that lottery ticket again. Still sitting on my kitchen table. Jessica had just proven she was real family. She was the only one who'd passed the test. The next day I went to my supervisor and asked to cut back to just one job and give a 2-week vacation. She looked surprised. Everyone knew I was the one who always picked up extra shifts. That evening, I researched what to do when you win the lottery. Turns out there's a whole world of financial advisors who specialize in helping lottery winners. Who knew? I found this guy, Marcus Chen, who had great reviews and seemed to know his stuff. When I called him, he was totally professional about the whole thing. "Congratulations on your win," he said when we met at his office. 2 days later, $5 million is a nice sum after taxes. You'll have around $2,500,000 to work with. He spread out some paperwork on his desk. "Now let's talk strategy. First rule, don't tell anyone. The minute people find out you've won money, you become everyone's best friend and their personal ATM. You'll have relatives crawling out of the woodwork, friends with sob stories, strangers with business opportunities. It's a nightmare." I told him about my family test and he nodded approvingly. Smart move. Most lottery winners go broke within 5 years because they can't say no to family and friends. You're already ahead of the game by finding out who actually cares about you. He helped me set up investments, explained tax implications, and gave me the best advice of all. Don't make any big changes right away. Keep working. Keep living in your apartment for now. The money will still be there in 6 months when you've had time to really plan. 2 weeks later, I packed a bag and moved in with Jessica. Her apartment was tiny, just a 1-bedroom with a pull-out couch, but she made me feel more welcome than my own family ever had. Jessica worked as a waitress at a local diner, not making much money, but she shared everything she had with me. She bought groceries for both of us, never asked me to contribute, and even gave me $20 here and there for job hunting expenses. We'd sit up at night talking and she'd tell me about her day, ask how my job search was going, just normal stuff. It felt weird having someone actually care about my well-being without wanting something from me. Meanwhile, Jessica had stayed in the family group chat and she'd fill me in on what was happening. According to her, the family had basically written me off completely. "Your parents posted in the chat yesterday," she told me one night. "They said you'd always been the family screw-up and they weren't surprised you couldn't handle adult responsibilities." Emma posted some meme about freeloaders getting what they deserve. Everyone thought it was hilarious. It should have hurt, but honestly, it just made me more sure that I'd made the right choice. These people had shown me exactly who they were, and I believed them. After 2 weeks with Jessica, I told her I'd found a job and an apartment. She seemed genuinely happy for me, which was such a foreign feeling I almost cried. "I'm proud of you," she said, giving me a hug. "I knew you'd bounce back." If only she knew how much I'd actually bounced back. I moved back into my old apartment and kept working at the clinic, but everything felt different now. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't stressed about money. I bought myself some decent work clothes, replaced my ancient phone, got my car fixed so it stopped making that weird noise. Little changes, nothing flashy, but it felt amazing to buy things without calculating if I could afford groceries afterward. 3 months passed like this. Marcus helped me invest most of the money conservatively and I started looking at houses. Nothing crazy expensive, just something nice, something mine. "I'd recommend staying under $400,000, Marcus advised. "You want to be comfortable, not house poor." I found this perfect little place, a 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood with a small yard and a kitchen that didn't have water stains on the ceiling. It was $380,000 and when the seller accepted my cash offer, I felt like I was in a dream. Moving day was surreal. My own house, my own mortgage-free house. I kept walking through the rooms just because I could, just because it was mine and nobody could take it away from me. That's when I decided it was time to tell Jessica the truth. I invited her over for dinner saying I wanted to show her my new place. When she arrived, I watched her face as she took in the house. "Melva, this is beautiful," she said, looking around the living room. "How did you afford to rent something this nice?" I smiled. "I didn't rent it, Jess, I bought it." Her face went blank. "You bought it? With what money?" "You were unemployed 2 weeks ago. That's what I need to tell you. I wasn't really unemployed and I didn't really need a place to stay. I won the lottery, Jess, $5 million. She just stared at me for a long moment. Then she sat down hard on my new couch. You won the lottery? And you pretended to be homeless? I needed to know who actually cared about me. I'd been supporting everyone for so long. I wanted to see what would happen if I needed support for once. Jessica was quiet for a while, processing everything. Finally, she looked up at me. So you tested all of us? Yeah. And you were the only one who passed. The only one who actually tried to help me when I needed it. That's when I handed her the check I'd already written out. $300,000. Her name right there on the paid line. This is for you, for being real family when everyone else showed their true colors. Jessica looked at the check, then at me, then back at the check. Her hands started shaking. Nova, I can't take this. This is too much money. You can and you will. You shared your home with me, bought me food, gave me money you couldn't afford to give. You treated me like family when my actual family treated me like garbage. She started crying then, and so did I. But they were good tears this time, happy tears. Thank you, she whispered, hugging me tight. Thank you for being the sister I always wished I had. And that's when I knew I'd made the right choice about everything. The test, the money, all of it. I'd found my real family and it wasn't the people I'd grown up with. 2 months passed in this weird bubble of happiness. I was working at the clinic because I wanted to, not because I was desperate for money. Jessica and I hung out all the time and she was planning to use her money to buy her own apartment. Life was good. Then my bubble got popped in the worst way possible. I was planning a vacation to Hawaii, my first real vacation in 4 years, when someone started pounding on my front door like they were trying to break it down. I looked through the peephole and my blood went cold. Mom, Dad, and Emma were standing on my porch and they looked pissed. I opened the door and Emma immediately started screaming at me. You lying brat. We know about the lottery. We know about this house. How could you do this to us? Emma, calm down, I said, but she was on a roll. Calm down. You let us think you were homeless while you were sitting on millions of dollars. And then you gave Jessica $300,000? That money should have gone to me. I'm your sister. Dad pushed past Emma and got in my face. We found out everything, Nova. About the money, about Jessica, about your little test. We know you've been lying to us for months. How did you find out? I asked, though I was pretty sure I knew. Jessica told her mom told Linda told everyone, Mom said. The whole family knows now. They're all talking about how you screwed us over. I almost laughed. Of course, that's how they'd react. Not well. Nova won the lottery. Good for her. But Nova screwed us over. We need our share, Dad continued. We've got mortgage payments, Emma's tuition. You owe us. I don't owe you anything, I said. But you want to know what I do have? I pulled out my phone and scrolled to the screenshots I'd saved from the family chat, the ones from when I was supposedly homeless and desperate. Remember this, I said, showing Emma her message about me being a stupid, irresponsible idiot who deserved to be homeless. And this, I showed them the photo she posted of the homeless man under the bridge with the caption about my future. Emma's face went white. I didn't mean that. I was just upset. And you? I turned to my parents. Remember when you said you were disappointed in me and wouldn't let me stay in your house because I needed to solve my own problems? Dad tried to backtrack. We thought you were really in trouble. We were trying to teach you responsibility. Bullshit. You showed me exactly who you are when you thought I had nothing to offer you. Emma literally laughed at the idea of me being homeless, and you both liked her post. Mom started crying then, but they weren't real tears. They were the manipulative kind she'd been using on me since I was a kid. Nova, we're family. We made mistakes, but we love you. We're struggling with the mortgage, and Emma's education costs so much money. Can't you help us? Serves you right, I said, using Emma's exact words from the chat. If you were too stupid to save money for emergencies, that's your problem. Emma's mouth dropped open. You can't be serious. Dead serious. You want to talk about family? Jessica is my family. She's the one who offered me her couch when I needed help. She's the one who bought me groceries when she thought I was broke. You laughed at me. I stepped back toward my door. Get off my property. I never want to see any of you again. You can't do this, Emma screamed. We'll sue you. That money belongs to the family. Good luck with that, I said, and slammed the door in their faces. They kept pounding and yelling for another 10 minutes before they finally left. Then my phone started blowing up. Calls from Mom, Dad, Emma, all the relatives who'd refused to help me. Text messages switching between begging and threats. Nova, please. We're desperate. You're being selfish. We'll take you to court. Family sticks together. I blocked all their numbers and deleted the messages without reading most of them. The harassment went on for weeks. They'd show up at my work, call from different numbers, even had some relatives I barely knew reach out on social media. All of them wanting money. All of them acting like I was the bad guy for not sharing. I didn't respond to any of it. Marcus had warned me this might happen and assured me they had no legal claim to my winnings. So I just ignored them all. Eventually, through Jessica, I heard that my parents had to downsize their house because they couldn't afford the mortgage without my help. Emma was working at a coffee shop to pay for her own college tuition. Uncle Mike and Aunt Linda were dealing with their own financial problems without their personal nurse to call on. Last month, Jessica and I went to Hawaii together. We spent a week on the beach, got massages, ate at fancy restaurants, did all the tourist stuff I dreamed about for years. Jessica kept thanking me for changing her life, but honestly, she changed mine too. When we got back, I made a decision that surprised even me. I enrolled in pre-med classes. I want to be a doctor, and now I actually can be. No more worrying about student loans or working full-time while studying. I can focus on school and become the person I always wanted to be. I still work at the clinic part-time, but it's different now. I'm there because I like helping people, not because I'm desperate for every paycheck. My coworkers have noticed the change in me. I'm happier, less stressed, more confident. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if my family had passed the test, if they'd rallied around me when I needed help instead of kicking me while I was down. Would I have shared the money with them? Probably. Would I have kept enabling their behavior for the rest of my life? Definitely. But they didn't pass the test. They showed me their true selves, and it was ugly. Emma's working for her own tuition now. My parents are learning to live within their means, and the extended family has stopped asking me for favors because they know I won't answer.